thank you all for coming. Hope you had a good time today. This is something that we started to do a number of years ago just to keep attention on the project. And we've been lucky because we've had so many great officials, both state and local officials, along with advocates. You know, what started here years ago with Mary Toomey continues with all of us. And she left us quite a legacy to continue on her behalf. But I can say that the only way that any of this is going to be protected and preserved will be through all of your hard work, and we all do it together. This is nothing that any one of us can do alone, and it's only because of you that we are here today and that we continue our focus on the project. You know, we've been lucky over the years with whether it be state officials or local officials to have such a great partnership with so many community members. And we have the commissioner from DCR and his very talented staff who have been a great advocate for all of you and for all of us here on the South Shore. And I can say it's not too often that a commissioner will come down on a project like this because it's torn in so many different directions. But the state administration, between the governor's office and DCR's staff and their administration, have been a great asset for all of us. I've been in office 14 years. And I remember when I first ran for office, Mary Toomey sat me down and interviewed me before I even, you know, had the chance to be in office or at least run for office for a week. Mary Toomey called me up and said, I have to talk to you. And I had only read about Mary Toomey, but I can tell you that when I first started, Abigail Adams State Park wasn't built yet. And because of all of you in this room and Mary Toomey, the park was built. And then we see great progress with Webb State Park. And I walk there all the time. You can see how beautiful it is there. We have two more great parks, Stotter's Neck, which is used by a lot of people. And then we have Great Esker Park and Bear Cove Park, which are town-owned parks. So the goal would be to connect Abigail Adams with Stotter's Neck, with Great Esker, and with Bear Cove, and have a linked waterfront trail system. And the towns of Hingham and Weymouth are very excited about this because they now have their own plans over the years which will connect to this park system. And it's up to us in government to try to find the funds to build what will be a major draw for this region. And that's always the catch in government, and that's trying to find the money to do these things. Years ago, we were successful in getting some money to the state budget for the design, which began the design work. And you can see on the boards here some artwork of what the link trail system will look like. We continue to look for funds to finalize the design. And then we're going to be looking for funds to build it out, which can be anywhere between $2 million and $6 million. That's a moving number, but it depends upon how elaborate we want to get with this system. What I would say is that every time we have this boat tour, something always changes. You know, you look at years ago when we first started, Abigail Adams wasn't built. And you look across the street at the Lowe's development, which was underway, being built. And then now you look at the Hingham Shipyard, which is built. There's so many reasons to come down to this area. And every year we have this boat tour to bring and to keep attention on the plan. And can you imagine being able to come down here and walk from park to park and then link up to a trail system that Weymouth has or Hingham has, and then be able to come around Stotter's Neck and end up at the shipyard? That's eventually what you're going to see here. But it's only going to happen if all of us work together. And when you look at the significant investment made by commercial developers in the area, along with town and state investment in regard to state parks, you know, we look at a $250 million Forever Bridge, which is about to be built, and all we need is $5 million to build this park. So when you look at state investment in this area between roads and bridges, we just need a few $1 million to build this park system. And it's going to be something that's going to be used for generations to come. I grew up in East Weymouth. I knew of this area. I knew of Great Esker Park. But I would tell you that 99.9% of our communities in Hingham and Weymouth will never come down to Abigail Adams Park or to Stotter's Neck or to Bear Cove or Great Esker, because it's in their mind and in their thought process that, yeah, I know it's there. I don't really know how to get to it. And when I get there, it's just one park. So why would I go down there? That being said, it's beautiful to come down to any one of these parks, but it's even going to be more beautiful to come down and walk from park to park. This is going to be a regional draw for our area, not just Weymouth and Hingham, but for the entire region. And when you look at the future of our town, I want the future of our communities to be that this location is a jewel, not just for the South Shore, but for the entire region. And with all of your help and hard work, it's going to happen. I know that it's going to happen. That's why I spend so much time along with my colleagues in the state and local government bringing and keeping attention on this project. And I want to thank DCR for their tireless efforts on behalf of our communities. And I want to thank the Commissioner for coming down here today. And I would like to invite the Commissioner, Jack Murray, to say a few words. And again, welcome to the towns of Weymouth and Hingham.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much for continuing to keep the focus on this great resource that we have down here. When you talk about Bear Cove and Stoddard and Abigail Adams and Great Esker, I mean, it is a shame at this point that these 4 or 5 regional resources are not yet connected, and the operative word here is yet, because as the chairman said, this will happen. And it's not going to happen without your continued support and your continued advocacy. Now, we are at 25% design. You see some of the posters here, and that's the good news. And the better news is that with a little bit of money, and when I talk about a little bit, I'm talking a couple $100,000 here in the grand scheme of things, to get us to a final design and permitting. And that's key. I was here last year and we talked about trying to make that an objective of ours. And I think that that's going to be our objective for the next year. The chairman and I spoke a little bit about convening a meeting in his offices at the State House with the town of Hingham, with the town of Weymouth, and with DCR to try and find a way to at least get that initial funding so that we can restart the design process. There are a couple of ways to do this. Chairman talked a little bit about private enterprise, maybe making use of some of the environmental processes through development, large-scale development and mitigation money in the area that may be able to get us some funds there. DCR has a partnership program in which we partner capital dollars with third parties, friends groups, municipalities who are interested in doing work on our properties. If we could come together with Weymouth and with Hingham to find some seed money, the agency would then have an opportunity to match or double match the seed money to get us to a number where we might be able to get to design and permitting. But I think that the very first objective here is to get this contract restarted, and to get the design moving forward once again, so that we're able to continue to maintain that momentum. And there's always a great benefit to have a project that is in design and in permitting, because then you can go ahead at the state level and make the argument to those folks who are holding the purse strings. And believe you me, it's not me. But folks at a much higher pay grade than I am, you can better make that argument when you've got a project that is designed, permitted, and shovel ready and ready to go. So I want to just take a moment to introduce some folks here from our team. Brought along our senior staff, senior members of our team. Kevin Whalen here is our Deputy Commissioner. Sam Schusterman is our Chief of Staff at DCR. Tony Barletta is our Director of Legislative Affairs. Of course, Susan Kane is our great Harbor Islands District Manager for the South Coast here. And Rick Corsi is a project manager for this project. And I introduced them, one, to demonstrate to you how important this project is to us, that we made the effort to get our senior leadership team down here to meet with all of you and to talk to you, but also to thank them for the work that they do every day. And I did want to just take a moment to ask Rick if he would just, I know we're all busy and we're going different directions, but just to give us a couple of minutes on some of the technical aspects of where we are at the 25% design, and then where we're going when we're able to refund the project and restart the contract.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. As you can see, we've come fairly far. We went through a whole series of options, trying to figure out exactly how we should go under the bridges, where the pathways should be located, where they meet the town parks, Great Esker and Bear Cove. And we've come to this as our solution. We had to stop the design contract as the economy was basically tanking. So we put the contract on hold, and this project is one of 2 on my bucket list. So I've got to get this done before I retire. That's my goal. And what we really need to do is to get a designer on board, restart a public process, maybe have 1 or 2 public meetings just to reacquaint people with the project, set up a working group similar to what we had originally as part of the project. And as the commissioner said, get the plans and specs finalized as a bid set so that when the time comes, the funds become available for construction, and one never knows when that call may come. We want to be ready to roll. And it's happened when we found that if we've got a project that's fully designed, fully permitted, it does get built.
That's our objective for this year, and hopefully by the time we're all back here next year for this boat tour, we're going to have more progress to report.
Thank you very much. And as Rick said, you know, you never know when that call is going to come. That's what happens, you know, so we want to be ready for it. And so we have this boat tour every year. We're just waiting for that phone call to happen, and I know that it will. And I want to thank DCR staff, because I can tell you that they're as committed as anybody to this project. They've been at it a long time. I've been around 14 years. Like I said, Rick's been around longer than me, but he's been at this. How many years have you been working on this project?
About 8 or 9.
Yeah, and worked with Mary Toomey before that.
Yeah.
So these people are the experts, and I want to thank them for their dedication. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention the South Shore Yacht Club for hosting us in this beautiful room. Thank you for having us here again this year. And so if you have your iPhones or your calendars ready, get out October 2015 or September 2015, because we'll be coming back here again, God willing. So thank you again for today, and it's an honor working for all of you. Thank you. Susan, thank you.